All right, Amy, today here we are for the Lebanon Star, and we have the famous, now extremely famous, Coach Kindell here. Coach, we're going to ask you first, we want to say congratulations. You're coming off your 500-win year, or season, well, not season. I mean, you didn't win 500 wins in a year. That would be awesome, but you don't have that many games, especially with rain here in Ohio. But your lifetime career, you've had over 500 wins. Unbelievable, huge. We want to applaud you. Just jump up and down and say yes. But then you capped it off and said that's not good enough. And you ended up having the girls, which are stars of themselves, they ended up winning state. So we want to tell you congratulations.
Thank you. It's so exciting for our community, our Lebanon community. You know, when you had the parade, when you had it off, and you know the streets and the applause, and I mean I was kind of watching, and people were giving play-by-play when you were playing and going in overtime. It was just. It's so cool for our city. It's so cool.
It's a heck of an accomplishment, and we want to play. But that didn't start overnight.
No, it did not.
So you've been here. We're going to ask you a little bit about yourself. So tell us how you ended up, first of all, in teaching, coaching, and all that stuff. So give us your background.
Okay. Well, I graduated from Bowling Green State University, and I went into to college thinking I was going to be a physical therapist or something like that. And I think I got about a year or two in and realized that, you know, when you go to apply to the school and they say you have to have a 3.9 GPA and it's a year or two wait, I said, it's probably not going to work out for me. So I went.
I had no clue that you were a BGSU Falcon.
Yes.
I was in Toledo, probably pretty close the same.
Yeah.
And I was going to Toledo for physical therapy, and God ended up moving me here to Cincinnati.
Okay.
Because some similar things, and 1,800 hours of work that you had to do without getting paid.
I said, you know, I'd like to enjoy college a little bit too. So
let's move in a different direction.
I went into physical education, teaching. You know, coaching was somewhat of an idea, I think, in the back of my mind at that, or maybe a fallback plan.
So let's stop before we explore that.
Sure.
Why? Why was that teaching, coaching in the back of your head?
Grew up playing sports and things like that through school, and you know, I've always just been, you know, sports related. It's always been a
Did you
huge
have
part
a
of
great coach or a teacher that you turn around and kind of give you
I think I had a lot of them.
Yeah.
I think I had a lot of them. It's always a series of probably positive experiences along the way.
Okay.
Which, you know, pretty much led me to, you know, have that as somewhat of a fallback plan.
Okay.
When I got to Bowling Green, and I ended up going that direction, and then graduated, and they had a job fair at Bowling Green in the spring of 1998.
Okay.
When, you know, this place was really booming. I mean, they were hiring, you know, 30, 40 teachers a year just because the amount of growth in the city.
Bowling Green had an excellent Maggie.
Yes.
Maggie graduated. My daughter Maggie graduated from Bowling Green in education. They
had
huge
education school.
Huge education
Yes.
program. So it was a perfect place to move in that direction.
Absolutely. And you know, I remember that Bowling Green was hiring a phys ed teacher, but Lebanon was hiring a phys ed teacher, and they came to a Bowling Green job fair, and it was Ken Williams.
Yeah, Ken Williams.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Ken Williams was there interviewing, but they weren't taking any phys ed interviews. And I ended up seeing Ken in the hallway, introduced myself.
Okay.
And he said, well, actually, we had a student teacher at the high school that we ended up hiring for that open position right before I came up here, so it's no longer on the market. But he said there's going to be another one that is opened up probably next week because we just have too many classes and not enough teachers. And he said, so keep an eye on it. Well, I ended up following up with him, got an interview later on, and was hired in the elementary school.
98-ish?
Yeah, this was spring of 98.
Okay.
Wow.
This was May of 1998. And I ended up starting at the elementary school at Dunleavy Elementary,
Yes.
Yeah.
which
Dunleavy.
is now a bus garage.
Yeah.
and Louisa Wright, which is now no longer.
Yes.
It's a field, I think, right across the street from us. So, but so that was kind of my start. Started coaching junior high football, and Jeff Bergman was my mentor teacher, and he was the head softball coach. He asked me to come on and coach JV for a year. Had a baseball background. I'm like, I don't know, Jeff. I mean,
This is
a
softball.
baseball
I'm
background.
baseball.
Like, how's this going to work out? And he's like, trust me, it'll be great. You'll love it. So I went ahead and did it. I was JV coach for 2 years, and then Jeff became the head girls basketball coach, and I applied to be the head softball coach, and Dave Broush hired me, and here we are 21 years later. So
A long accomplishment from time.
Yes.
Now, so 20 years ago, did you ever think that you would be in this position to turn around? So for our viewers and maybe a student or somebody that's watching this turning around, you never know where you're going to end up.
You don't.
And here it is. I'm starting and I'm doing this. And then all of a sudden, you started creating a movement because you had a girls' softball program that people wanted to be part of. So, what was how did that start to change? How did that culture start to change in girls' softball?
Well, it was pretty good program when I took over.
Right.
They started, kind of feeling some of the beginning successes. When Jeff was the head coach, and we were really, really good at the JV level, I think because the sport was starting to grow here in Lebanon. So I think the groundwork was kind of laid for me. I'm really pretty lucky in that regards. But there was a lot of talent, and we just kind of kept progressing, and it took us a few years. We got that first district final win. And then a few years after that, first regional win. And, I guess it's taken on the sixth time up there and the 4 state championship appearances, finally resulted in us winning a state championship.
Yay!
Yes.
So through those stories of those times and things, what student maybe comes out to your mind? What was your favorite athlete that you kind of had come up through? And I know that's hard, and if you're not that favorite athlete right now, you may be for other reasons, but we just want to talk about.
This was just to kind of talk a little bit about that. I was at the big event where everybody came together to salute you, and there was a student that spoke at the we call it rally or whatever. She remind me of her name. She spoke
At the rally.
She's a senior. She spoke.
Oh, a current player.
Yes, a current player.
I thought you were talking about
a current
some
player.
of the older players
No,
that came back for it. Kennedy Yauk?
Yeah, it was a Kennedy.
It was probably Kennedy, yeah.
Was pretty impactful, wasn't she, in terms of being a leader within the team and the.
It's funny that you've picked up on that.
Yes.
And Kennedy kind of just as the year went on, kind of just became that person of leadership, that captain, that spokesperson, so to speak, was just in tune with everything going on in the team, and was always concerned about all aspects and all people of the team, and kind of almost the caretaker, so to speak, to be honest with you, which was really cool to see.
You got to see that growth of an individual into a leadership role.
That's what Kennedy's story is really pretty interesting. She was a really high level travel ball player and is very skilled at a young age in junior high, and then all of a sudden got to about her 8th grade year and just did not click with a travel coach and a travel team, and really took a lot of the love and passion that she had for the game away, and even debated playing in high school or ever playing again.
Yeah.
I think her parents really pushed her to at least give high school a try. Like, you've worked so hard to get to this point. You're a good player, you know.
And you love the game.
Yeah, and she did. She had a really good freshman year. She started out at JV, and we pulled her up, and she became really like a designated player hitter for us halfway through her freshman year, and then her sophomore year really pushed hard, and it's when Janie Lusinger got hurt that an outfield spot opened up, and she became that next outfielder and ended up starting in the state semifinal game in 2023, and then just really kept working at it and pushing, and became
that kind of talks about, going back to your question, talks about when you have a coach that really becomes a role model who gives you that, when you, in her example, kind of losing that connection and that love of the game because she didn't connect with coaches traveling. And here she comes to Lebanon, and she
gets encouraged.
She's encouraged. She gets that renewed energy, and there you have it. So when I was listening to her speak, she told that story actually, and you hear that from her. And I give obviously yourself some of that credit that you renewed her interest, her love for the sport that she loved when she was a little girl. And because I think coaches are much more than just a coach. They represent, besides your families, and maybe it's only the coach, represent somebody that, other than your family, that inspires you and gives you that renewed sense of who I am and what my talent is, which I think you've done over the years with many of your players, and it's an amazing thing.
Yeah, you've got a lot of people throughout the years that you've impacted people's lives, and this is just one of them.
Yeah. I mean, this is true. I mean, I would envision Kennedy remaining, fairly close to the program as she goes on to Ohio University, and she'll forever be remembered as a big time player on the the best team that Lebanon High School's ever seen. Yeah. So,
but now I'm going to go back to that question.
Sure.
Out of all your years, who's your favorite?
I couldn't even begin to answer that.
I know that's a tough question.
It really is.
Because you've had some unbelievable players.
I've had unbelievable players. I've been, I say it all the time, I've been very, very blessed. Here in Lebanon, we've got a fantastic community. Yeah. We're blessed with really, really good student athletes.
Yeah.
And even beyond that, I talk to, even some of the football teams that I coach and things like that. They, people constantly ask or whatever, how are you guys so good every year? And one thing that I always say is I'm blessed to coach the top 10% of all students in Lebanon High School, and they do things the right way for all the right reasons. Are there bumps along the way? Are there adversity and things like that? Absolutely. That's why it's called sports.
Yeah.
But we always, work through it and come out on the right side of things.
So when you go back and look through your career and your career here, for some of these kids and for some of these, athletes coming up, you came up in a period of time where, especially in girls softball, almost when you first started, travel ball wasn't really around, not at the level that it's at now. So travel ball to some extent competes against you. And I know you coach travel ball too, but
I do, yeah.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about what travel ball coaching looks like and the difference maybe between travel ball and high school, because maybe it is an upcoming student who doesn't understand the difference between those two.
Well, I mean, just the changes in travel ball from when I first started coaching. I mean, there was 4 or 5 travel ball teams. back in 2005, 2007, 8. There's 4 or 5, and then there was, you had more local select teams.
Yep.
That would, go out and play other cities or try to play local tournaments against other cities and things like that. And then, I don't know, maybe it seems like probably 15 years ago that kind of changed, and all of a sudden there's hundreds of travel teams and there's tournaments everywhere, and there's, it's I don't know, it's a racket. It's a racket, to be honest with you. I've personally loved my travel ball coaching experience.
And you've done that for how long?
About 5 years. 5 years, maybe.
Yeah.
Since Claire was, I think I was an assistant on her team maybe at like 12U, and then I took the team over at 14. So I think this may be about the 4th season. But, I've personally enjoyed the experience, but I would not trade it for being the head coach at Lebanon High School ever.
Yeah.
To be totally honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just school sports, I think, to go back to what, Amy had to say, is just, I think you have a larger platform to make an impact.
Yeah.
I think all the things about high school sports are what I enjoy.
Yeah.
You're representing, not yourself, you're representing your school. You get the opportunity to play with the kids that you grow up with. You're really representing your entire community.
Yeah. You really are.
And you don't have that.
In travel ball, because these kids are from all kinds of different places.
Everybody's from a different.
Yes.
Everybody's from a different location.
You probably have a little bit more drama in travel ball than you do in. There's always drama in sports, but
sports are passionate, and people are passionate about sports, so there's always going to be drama. But my experience has been really good in travel ball, but I know other people's they can't say the same thing. So
well, you talked about the girl earlier and her challenge and that. Yeah. Now when you go back and again you look at this period of time, I mean, you really had a terrible field to kind of start with. If it was maybe a pile of dirt that was maybe thrown from the baseball field, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
That was the dumping ground maybe for the baseball field. And then, and I watched where my kids were growing up, all of a sudden softball was bigger than baseball. And you had actually kind of resourced the community to get companies to help, people, individuals to get involved. There were many days when you were out there digging yourself on that field.
I've spent a lot of hours on that field dragging it and working. And that's been one of the cool things that is developed through my 20 years too, is the amount of people that in this community that will help, the resources that our school district has put forward also to help. I actually just saw this past weekend at a travel ball tournament, our old superintendent, who was a big advocate of pushing to get that field up to code in Mark North. Mm-hmm. And I saw him, and we had a laugh about.
Wow. And from the past.
Yeah. About the field. He congratulated me on the state championship and all those things. But he was up in Finley and
that's kind of a cool.
He had stopped. So
now you also, when I remember first coming to watch some of the softball games there when I was a youth pastor, and you turn around, there's like 5 people there.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember that. And some of those weren't even parents. You're not even sure, did they just where did they come from? Yeah. But that is not the case anymore, because you have a huge crowd following these kids.
We do for our big games. There'll be, we get high school kids out and other family members. We get, it's for big games. You'll see a big crowd. We actually added those outfield bleachers that. I think about 2 years ago it was added between baseball and softball, and I think it was the Colton Hartman professional scout deck that we had to add for all the pro scouts that were watching Colton. But now that Colton's on to Louisville, I had them turn it around.
And
Oh, yeah.
now they're
And
watching some of your players.
Now
Yeah.
they're watching, some of our games. So we do have, a nice outfield deck there now too. So it's been cool. I mean, with the press box and concession stand, the restrooms. But yeah, I remember when I first started, I remember I got the key to the dugout, little closet there, and I opened it up, and I think there was a bucket of softballs, a rake, a hoe, and a shovel.
It didn't have a broken hose maybe in there that didn't work. It was bent.
There was there was maybe a hammer too or something, but there wasn't a whole lot back then when I took over. So definitely fast forward 20 years, it looks a whole lot different.
Well, you think about it, and we need to have Judy Conrad on our here.
Yes.
And she spoke at the congratulations event that you had, and there she was. Her and Gloria were instrumental in women's
Into sports,
right.
yes.
of women's sports, and one of your biggest Judy, one of your biggest supporters. I watched her up there, and she just was glowing and beaming for your success, for the girls' success. And she really paved the way for what's happening in girls and women's sports.
Yeah.
She really truly did.
Yeah.
There is
really did.
no doubt about that. A true pioneer of women's sports
True
in
warrior.
Lebanon High
Oh,
School, and
yeah.
no one more passionate about all things
Yes.
Lebanon High School and even Lebanon for that matter.
She's
than
got that
Judy
warrior
Conrad.
heart.
Oh,
She does.
definitely.
That's big.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
Now
Yeah.
you have, how many seniors are leaving you?
3.
That's
Three
it.
seniors are leaving.
That's it.
Yes.
What a big deal for you.
Yeah, there is a lot of kids coming back, no doubt about it. But I will say this: those 3 seniors were very, very impactful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very, very impactful. And it's funny. I get the same. No way, only 3, but the impact that those 3 have made goes well beyond the
Beyond
number.
the 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
you'll see some of the kids step up and fill those holes
Yeah.
next year. That's the piece is you've not only built a program, you've continually, hey, there's another kid coming to step up in one of those roles, and that's the legacy. You've set some bars and expectations. I've also, I think one of the funniest conversations I had recently was another coach's relative, and they were telling me, it was a girl's coach relative, boy, the pressure's on in our family now because you just set the bar for Lebanon girls sports with softball.
And it can be done.
Yes.
It takes time.
Yeah.
And it takes patience, and you have to build, like I said. I mean, we lost in a district final the first 3 times, my first 3 years. And then that 4th year, all of a sudden, boom, we got over the hump on a crazy play at the end that we came out on the right side of. And then we started winning district titles every year, but then we'd get hung up in the regional game. And then in 2012, we were able to get over the hump in a regional semi against Mason, and then we beat Oak Hills in a regional final and went up there and even made it to the state championship game that year. But it just takes time, and you've got to build and you've got to just every year the program gets a little stronger. It's I guess almost like building a house. It just takes brick by brick, and I guess it took 20 years, but here we are.
20 years, 500 wins, state champion.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
here's some of the other questions. Before we talk a little bit more personal about you, what's next? What's next for this program? What are you kind of thinking?
I don't. Well, we've had the same goals for 20 years, or 21, I guess. I always say 20 because we didn't get that COVID year. But I don't. The goals won't change. I mean, we're going to enjoy this, and we have been. Our, kids have got a lot of attention, and they get to do a lot of really cool things and stuff like that. So they need to enjoy it. But when we get back to the fall and winter and in tryouts, late winter, it'll be back to business. I mean, our goals aren't going to change.
I'm sure there are people out there that think you just eat, sleep, and consume softball every hour of your life, right? So let's talk about some of the things. What do you do? Tell us about your family a little bit.
Well, I'm married to Caroline Kindell, who, at least in our household, we joke around that she's probably the most popular one in the family for sure. I mean, you can't go too many places with her without being stopped within every 2 to 3 minutes. Don't ever eat downtown with her because you can't eat. Somebody's going to stop you every 90 seconds, especially on Women's Night.
Yeah.
But we've been married actually. Next week, we will be married 20 years.
Woo! Yay.
So, and I actually met her here in Lebanon when, we talked about the Louisa Wright and Dunleavy and, when those buildings were going out of existence and we were going to centralized schooling. We had the meeting, and I think you were in this meeting.
Yeah, I'm sure I was.
You were in this meeting.
Yeah.
Do you remember? And it was supposed to be in central office. Conference room, okay, and they double booked the conference room. So this was back when we had the annex, which was the kindergarten building, and it was the old church that split with central office.
Oh my goodness!
Okay.
Yes. Oh yes.
And so Becky Hill was running the meeting, and they were asking PE teachers where they wanted to go, art teachers where they wanted to go, and I noticed this teacher kept coming in and was laminating stuff and stuff like that. And, she was looking at me, I was looking at her. And I guess they asked me where I wanted to go, and I didn't answer the question. So I was a little sidetracked. And so, needless to say, they moved me to Barry because I didn't answer the question. And that wasn't where I wanted to go, but I was just fine moving to Barry. But I later made connection with her, with Melinda Lindauer.
Melinda Lindauer.
Yes, and we went out on a few dates, and the rest is history. So it'll be 20 years next week, July 7th.
Congrats.
I'm sorry, July 9th.
Oh, you better know the date.
No, I do. July 7th is when we go on a cruise, and then July 9th is our anniversary.
Okay.
But and then we have 2 daughters. Kate and Claire. Claire will be a junior at the high school, and Kate will be 8th grade at the junior high. So Claire plays softball. That's one of the cool things about all this is, I got the opportunity to do this with my oldest daughter, and then my youngest daughter is in competitive cheer. So
Okay. Great. So you're not going to go coaching in the competitive cheerleader down
I
the
am
road.
not.
Okay. Just wanted to
I
make
am not. It's the coolest thing about it is I don't know anything about it.
You're okay with that.
I am absolutely okay about it. I just show up to the events, and when we're all done, man, your flips look great.
So we shouldn't have them be worried about you replacing them and bringing a state championship for competitive cheer.
No, they are just fine. They are just fine without me.
Your sweet wife is Amanda, my second daughter. Somebody said there is a teacher at Louisa Wright that looks just like your daughter Amanda. So a lot of times they thought that my daughter and your wife
We're the same person.
were, my gosh, they look with the dark hair and whatever. Sometimes we get them confused. But thought that Amanda looked just like Carolyn.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
So what do you guys do? What are the things you like to do besides softball and sports?
Really, really busy.
Yeah.
Really busy. As you know, I coach junior high football too. So one thing I did this morning, we had practice. So I pretty much came right from practice, grabbed lunch, put on a new shirt, and here I am. So, that takes up a lot of time. When then travel ball, Caroline likes to go and we take Kate, to all the tournaments and everything all summer. So we are really, really busy with kids. Like we're right in the thick of it right now.
Right.
As you know, you've
Right in the thick
been
of
there.
things.
You've been there.
Right.
Yeah, you've been there.
You're going one way, she's going another way. By the way, Carolyn is an absolutely amazing teacher in the Lebanon school system.
She's a star herself.
She is a star herself. I just wanted to say she's amazing with personal experience with
Yes,
grandchildren that have had her.
She
She's amazing.
truly is.
But in the middle of this, a lot of people think a teacher and a coach turns around, they get their summers off. And, you know, that's the wrong perception. And so we just want to clarify that, because here is a leader, here is somebody who is pouring into your kids all summer long. Yes, there are some with their own kids and their own activities, but you are pouring in because you're at football right now. You're at strength training and turning around. And as soon as football kind of is starting to kind of almost wrap up, before it even wrapped up, you're going fall softball a little bit too, and some of the little programs that are set up for that. So, you know, it's not like he's sleeping, you know, back and eating bonbons and turning around at the pool with flip-flops. You know,
I wish maybe later today, maybe after this.
Maybe it's almost winter time when you maybe get to do that, and then you got other things that are coming up, getting ready for the season. Yeah. What else do you do? What are the other hobbies that you like to turn around and do?
Gee whiz. I like to. I really like watching Buckeye football.
Buckeye football.
Yes.
Yeah. We were trying to buy tickets today. We couldn't. It was really a bummer. We couldn't get on the list today for Parents' Day for OSU.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I love watching football. You know, I mean, more than anything, just I think relaxing. I like my Traeger out back.
There you go.
I like smoking meat.
You have a mean meal that you make that that you're real renowned for?
You know, pork butt or the kids like smoked meatloaf.
All right. Smoked meatloaf. There you go.
Smoked meatloaf, yeah.
All right.
If you have a Traeger, it's on the app. The recipe is on the app.
But is it yours? That's not your. Do you modify it? Do you add your own special ingredient?
No, it's pretty close to it.
Okay.
Pretty close to it.
Okay.
But it's so. I mean, other than that, just I don't get a lot of downtime. But I would say, if anything, those things and just relaxing, really.
Yeah.
All right. So if I turned around and asked a former football player or former person, you know, girl that you coached softball with, give me the 5 quotes that they would say they came from you 100%.
Oh, boy.
Oh, that's big.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
And by the way, if you're a student or a player, you are welcome to comment on those coaches down in the message.
Well, there's been a few through the years. You know what? I will say this, and this really rings a bell. That a former player, Maddie DeGennaro, who recently, just this spring, a few weeks ago, finished her doctorate down at Presbyterian. And I always used to give a speech about, like, there's 2 types of people, you know, that are on a team. There's energy takers and there's energy givers. You know, there's people you're around when you go to work, you know, that just drain the energy out of a room, and then there's people that, you know, light up a room and with energy and you know, set the tone for how things are going. And you know, I would give that speech, and as you know, and I'd say, like, right now we have too many people that are taking the energy out of practice, that are, you know, you're not performing the way you want to, and you're letting it. You know, you want everyone to feel that it's just not working. And I remember it was later on, was maybe she was doing a thesis or something, a final English paper, her senior year, several years after I had given that quote a few times, and it showed up in her final English paper, and I talked to her dad, Brian, probably several years after that, and she had used that same thing again in like a college project, whether it was for masters or something like that, and you know, that I think that really touched me. So that would be at the top, just based on
Definitely.
You know, when we talk about, you know, making an impact and things like that, when you know, some of the things you're saying are kids are going back and using in senior final English projects and master's thesis and things like that. I think that's pretty cool. So I would say that's a really cool one. That's my top one. I mean, just
do you have another one? And it could be funny, you know. I mean, whatever they may be.
Oh gosh,
do the kids ever imitate you?
They have. One of the Sean Lamb, who actually was my first varsity softball coach, assistant coach. And he was only there for a year before he took over the football program. And he always likes to do a walk, and he gets the kids going. That when I get all mad or whatever, and he says my walk changes. So and he gets them all going on that all the time. So,
Great one too.
but yeah, I would say I've seen that imitated a few times.
From him. And,
From
and the
him,
kids,
but
and now the
then-
kids have repeated it.
Yeah,
It probably doesn't
Sean.
take too much to get the rest of the.
Sean even does it in the middle of his class too. So
Wow. So
So-
that's a little bit of legacy. So
Yeah.
yeah. All right. So this is a question that out there that our viewers probably want to find. What is your favorite flavor of Whit's ice cream?
Oh boy, strawberry.
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 All
Yes.
right. So strawberry. So we're gonna go the other one: Gold Star or Skyline?
Skyline.
Skyline. All right. Pizza in Lebanon. Which pizza would you turn around and say you got to get this pizza
Man,
in Lebanon?
There's so many.
There
Depends on the
is,
mood,
there
depends
is,
on
yes.
the-
But I will say this, and I don't. Hopefully, I don't get in trouble because it's right outside of Lebanon in South Lebanon. Does that count?
Chubby's does not count.
Chubby's
doesn't.
Chubby's,
It's South
Chubby's.
Lebanon.
Oh my
How'd you
God.
know?
No,
Chubby's.
because everybody knows that.
I had
Chubby's.
never
All right.
had that until Claire got a job at Chubby's.
Okay.
And it was her first night working with, and so we all, Kate and Caroline and I, decided to go in and work and to eat and then get ice cream.
Yeah.
And we got it is fantastic.
And then the
though.
ice cream's really good. But
It
you
is
can't-
fantastic.
You can't do South Lebanon, so you got to go to Lebanon. What are we going to do?
Oh boy.
I like the Chubby's one.
I know.
I'm just saying.
Stumped now. You got me stumped.
Yeah, I know.
What is your go-to?
Probably La Rosa's.
The roses. All right. So we've got another question then that's kind of wrapped around it and a little bit on that. What's your favorite Lebanon story? What's your favorite Lebanon memory?
Honestly, I think it's the one that just happened.
Yeah. You have the one that is just an unbelievable
Yes.
thing. Yeah.
I know I've been here a long time. I mean, I'm heading into my 28th year in education, but I don't know if you can top that. Just the final moment, when Sophia threw that pitch, and then it just seemed like it was, a minute long waiting for him to call that third strike, and then finally he did, and just the elation that went through my body, seeing all the entire team, just piling up on each other, watching Ella spike the ball,
All of it.
It's a heck of a memory.
I can replay it through my mind vividly every day, and I think I will be for the rest of my life. So I'm gonna have to go with that. And then on a personal note, being able to hand my daughter a state championship medal.
It's a heck of a deal.
Yep. Give her a hug, and
Yeah.
doesn't
Doesn't
get much
get
better
any
than
better.
that. It doesn't.
Does not get any better
Doesn't.
than that.
It was a really good Father's Day gift that my
Yeah, well-
wife got me. We had reached out to the Inquirer and got that print, and she went and got it enlarged and framed, and that was my Father's Day present.
What a cool
Yes,
Father's Day.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So-
Beautiful.
All right, so the last question for you
Sure.
is, if you had to turn around and say there is another Lebanon Star, so somebody that impacted you in teaching, school, community, any of those things, you have one person, who would that be?
that I've had the opportunity to work with.
Yeah, that impacted you.
Sean Lamb.
Sean Lamb.
Sean
There
Lamb.
you go.
Yeah.
So another true Lebanon Star. And yeah, that's why we're asking these
Yes.
questions, because sometimes
Without a
people want to
doubt.
know, and sometimes things like the things that you do are done behind the scene, whether it's picking
Yeah.
up the shovel, whether it's cleaning out the equipment room, whether it's washing football helmets. It's all the crazy things that you've done.
Yeah.
And we just want to thank you. You've raised if I had to do the number of students you've impacted, you're probably 3,000, 4,000 maybe? As high as that?
I don't know.
But then
Yeah.
you take a look at not only on the fields, but in the classroom.
Yeah.
But in the classrooms, you think about that. The fields is one thing, but impacting every day students
Yep.
is a whole other piece of what it's like to be an educator.
So, do you have any words for any students out there that are maybe looking for a career and looking at choices to do? What wisdom would you give them?
I would just say that, it's not easy. It's not easy being in education, as you know.
Not in this day and age.
It's not easy, and it's not getting any easier.
No.
It really, truly isn't. But if you are committed enough and you stay with it, you will never find another career path or choice that you can make the daily impact that you can make in this field.
And rewarding.
Yeah.
And rewarding,
And
yeah.
totally
Like,
rewarding.
it's, there's not too many times in different professions where you can be truly brought to tears of joy.
I was going to ask that
Over-
question because I know that you've had some of those tearing moments.
Yeah.
From a coach's standpoint, you can't
Yeah.
show those tears, but those
No.
are tears of joy and
Yeah.
tears of unbelievable satisfaction and some of the things and accomplishments
Absolutely.
that you've done.
And
Yeah.
you can't get that anywhere else. So, I guess like in anything, you as kids that are deciding, what they want to do. We've had this conversation actually this morning in our house about, Claire's beginning to really sit down and consider what she wants to do when she grows up. And there's a lot of things out there you can do. And there's a lot of things out there that you can enjoy, that you can, even be better compensated for. But at the end of the day, you're probably not going to find anything else is truly rewarding and that you can walk away from knowing that you made the greatest impact that you possibly could in your life. So
That's why you're a Lebanon Star. Again, we want to
Thank you.
super thanks.
Thank you.
Coach.
Great.
And I know that
Awesome.
it's been unbelievable.
it's an honor to be on. I'm just looking around here.
No, it's our
I know.
honor to have you because
it
you.
is
No.
our honor.
Anytime I have the opportunity to sit next to her, she makes me look good.
Well, again, we want to super thank you and
Yeah.
super congratulations. We do
Thank
want to
you.
figure out something to do for the girls because they are stars in themselves.
They are. It's
and
really.
they don't probably even really fully grasp what they've
I
done
don't
yet.
think they do. I don't, and I've been at it for 20 years. I'm sure they probably don't. We're still.
They came to city council. They did a
I
proclamation
saw that.
for
We did.
on Tuesday
Yeah.
for that. So that was.
But those
awesome.
memories that you've put in those kids' heads for years, it's
Yeah.
impacting you, but it's going to hugely impact them. And it'll be interesting to see 20 years from now what those kids are turning around and thinking about.
Yeah.
And, what that is. They may be the next ones, maybe even creating this podcast, or they'll probably have some other way to do it. But
Yeah, I'm sure.
Who knows what that technology? So
Yeah.
here we say thank you and
Yes.
thank you for joining the Lebanon Star.
Yeah.
Please join us.
comment down below.
Yeah.
Give your love to Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Lost in your hometown.